Hey, how's it going? Hey, it's Dave here. Oftentimes I'm asked for career advice, and as you probably all know, I was a police officer for a long time, about 30 years. Um, Rose through the ranks, became a chief of police here in Hollister, California. And, I wanted to answer some of those questions I get for career because I think they'd be beneficial for folks out there that want a career in law enforcement or public safety. So oftentimes when I'm talking to folks that are just starting out, going to school, trying to figure out what their careers are, in speaking with them, they always say something like, "Oh, I think I want to be a detective, or I think I want to be a captain, or I want to be a chief," but they really don't understand the steps on how to get to those point, and really what you need to do to get that point as well. So I thought I'd offer some of those suggestions right here. My best advice when it comes to law enforcement and public safety is to master each step, right? So the first step usually for police officers is patrol. And patrol is probably the most important thing because it really gives you your basis for really your entire career, and gives you that groundwork that you need to know and foundation for pretty much all the things you learn in the academy and all the things you learn in your initial field training. So for me, my advice is to have as much opportunity to be on patrol as possible and to master that. And it takes years, you're not going to get every single kind of call the first year, the first 2 years, or maybe even the first 5 or 6 years. And really, that's important to have exposure to those kinds of calls because it gives you an idea on how to utilize your decision tree in your head for different options that you can use out in the field. On patrol, you'll learn a lot of things. You'll learn the application of the law. You'll learn empathy. You'll learn how folks react and how to read body language. And that's important because reading body language is really almost more overt than it is when they are actually talking to you and telling you what they want to do and what they don't want to do. You know, Body language will actually signal what they're going to do prior to them doing it, and they don't even know they're doing it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of mastering patrol if you're when you go to law enforcement, and again mastering each step, right? So usually after patrol, you have an idea, for kind of what direction you want to do. For me, I went into gangs and detectives, but some folks will go into things like traffic and other jobs as well. And each one of those opportunities offers really a really good chance for you to learn a lot and for you to master that specific technique. Just remember that a lot of these captains and chiefs and bosses and brass that are in law enforcement probably went through most all of those things and understand the job, and it gives them a wider view of the world and the agency and the services they provide to the public that they serve. So it's important that you, if you have aspirations of wanting to rise up through the ranks, get experience on all the shifts and as many different kinds of disciplines you can in law enforcement, period. One of the things that I thought was great advice was to do things that you don't really like or prefer, right? So, for example, I could not stand financial crimes. So, while I was assigned to detectives, I did financial crimes and I volunteered for them because I just didn't understand the process for them. I was very lucky that I had a person as a mentor that was able to teach me how to do the warrants for financial crimes and doing them efficiently. Explain to me how to best get the results that you're seeking when you're going to try to go for a prosecution for some of these pretty heinous crimes when it comes to financial crimes, especially against the elderly. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I was able to figure that out through trial and error and through great mentoring. The things that I was not great with, obviously, for me personally, I was not good with anything to do with crimes against children. And I knew that that was part of the deal, and so I volunteered for crimes against children, and did those cases and learned how to prosecute them in the best, most efficient manner. Trying to be as fair to the process as possible. Obviously, what's funny about people that get into law enforcement, they get into a ton of different reasons, right? I can tell you that when I was a young man, they asked me, "Hey, why do you want to be a cop?" Right? And I said, "Well, I want to drive fast and, drive cool cars and, and wear kind of all this cool stuff on, and serve the public, right?" I mean, that's the honest truth. I mean, I thought it was super cool, and, I didn't realize how all-encompassing the job was when it comes to taking care of your fellow man and, the humbleness that it takes to be a law enforcement officer. It's an honorable trait. And for me, it was a growing experience for me as I became more and more sort of centered into the career of law enforcement. Anyway, so my message today is that you master each level of responsibility, whether it be patrol, which I think is a very important part, supervision, intermediate supervision, detectives, all those specialty assignments. I mean, if you have a chance to do them, go for it. Because it will make your career wider, bigger, and fuller, and you'll have a better idea of how everything works together when you want to make that big step into the corner office. All right? Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.